Yes, ma'am. So nice to hear all those things.
Any,
Nikhilanu?
any more
Yes.
questions?
Yes.
Yeah,
Nikhilanu?
Yes, like thank you for coming and energizing the Sunday morning, early morning. And like when I heard about the different areas exposure you had, like in the research area and the technology development, the I just got an thought which I recently heard. Like recently ONGC has come up with an webinar named Sustainable Solution for the upstream or petroleum related things. So they're mentioning that instead of using using the fuel, better to create chemicals and better to create chemicals biologically or something like that. And what do you think about it? Like this idea will, like, we know that fossil fuels someday will get extinct, and looking that, considering this, will there be, how do you see it? Like, will there be a big change happening?
see, any change, it will take a lot of time. They just don't implement it because it is not just biofuels and all. Here you need volumes. So to get to those kind of volumes, it will take some time. So a lot of people, they did start into renewable energy and all those things. But some of the renewable energy projects I do not know, some of the big companies, they're taking a slower pace and all that. Because as I told you, this is not just this thing, the quantity of oil or the gas that you get, the volumes are so large. So to substitute them, you can only do a minor substitution. Still it has not reached the need. Like you can have this ethanol extraction from bagasse. Lot of things are there, lots of things. But there are, to get that volumes and all, you need to wait. So wherever it can be substituted, only at that places it's being substituted.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nikhilanu. Shantan?
Aruna garu, regarding work-life balance, you said, your thoughts, and I agree with you completely on that. We also had to, I never understood the words work-life balance. So in my house, my wife went to work from 5:30 to 2:30, and from 3 o'clock to 12 o'clock, I worked.
That's what I said. See, somewhere you are making a balance in your family. That's what it's
right. And both of us were going up in the career, and we realized both of us could not. So she went up on her career, and I decided to stay where I was because, you had to make that sacrifice. So, so I think the work-life balance is not really going to ever happen, but I guess you got to do the best you can.
Yeah, that's true. Because it is in your hands, it's not like, see, sir, there are certain things, suppose the child is really unwell and all that, but there are some things, suppose there's a very important meeting, then sometimes it gets very, very difficult to take a call. It's a harsh decision. There are, like sometimes like this, when she was not well and we already fixed up a meeting with the client. Okay, not that the client is going to crucify you. When you are the lead, the way you handle is very different. So then I had to tell my daughter, you take this medicine at this time, you take this medicine at this time. I used to feel very bad as a mother, so, but now she's also grown up. She's in IBM, she heads their corporate communications. So she says, I know what you would have gone through. So she herself, now she's a career woman and all that. So this is how, but I think she's doing a better job than I did, okay?
That's what you want, right, from your daughter? You want them to do better than you.
The way she is handling things, both at home and office and all that, it's okay. She used to have that advantage where she can still work from home, like there are certain areas where now slightly Yale has opened up. Whether if you take ONGC or Yale or any of these places, these are all national treasures. We can't just open up or give remote access to any and everybody because this is a very classified information. Not too many people should get access to it. Okay, so because the cyber security, so many things, there are some jobs where working from home is, okay, still they're working out on it and all that. It is not very practical as a proposition. Badal, you agree with me on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, because ONGC is a national oil company,
Exactly.
and
All the classified
the resources
information.
are national resources which
Exactly.
we are handling. So there are certain things which we have to be careful about.
Exactly.
They are strategic resources, strategic national resources which we are handling, and that's the reason why we need to be careful about what we do with the data and things like
Exactly.
that. So that's the reason why the work from home concept it cannot be completely
Exactly.
implemented in an organization like ONGC. Plus, it's quite a bit of a hands-on industry. You have to be at the site working with your hands in this industry most of the time, and that's another reason why working from home concept is not
a very popular one.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's not so popular. It cannot become very popular in this this sector.
We are doing it because the situation is demanding.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Unfortunately for the youngsters, my experience is that the youngsters who are coming in nowadays, they are so used to be working on their laptops and their phones and on the desks. They have a kind of resistance to go out in the field and work.
it's very
That's
true.
my personal experience. I may be correct, I may not be correct, and there are different people having different attitudes. So I'm just generalizing on my experience that there is a hesitancy for these youngsters to go out in the sun and sweat it out there because they feel that they are engineers. My personal is that if you are engineers, you have to go out in the sun and sweat it out.
Exactly. So same experience, no? It's these girls when they have to go to remote locations, they have, as you said, mental block. Oh, why here? Why there? I said, unless you go to the plant, you talk to plant people. If you sit and send a mail, you'll get information only for one point. But if you go to the site, they will talk to you about all the surrounding things, so you will get, your learning is much more when you visit. I used to tell them, I am visiting site. You are 15 years younger to me. Why can't you visit?
Absolutely. My wife is working in ONGC and she used to go to offshore platforms, stay there.
So then another thing is
there is no substitute for that.
And even discussions. I tell them if you go have a telephonic discussion, they'll just tell you up to the point and put down the phone. If you sit with them, they'll tell you their experience. That makes a lot of difference. Badal, I'll share one.
Absolutely.
AP, that additional processing train of ONGC Uran. Complete phase that train 3, I was the leader for that project. Okay. So first kickoff meeting, I went to Uran.
You had Mr. Dhake with you, is it, at that time?
I had Mr. Dhake. He's one of the best.
He's a very close friend of mine.
He's a good friend of yours.
Yes.
I'll see if I have his number. He must have retired by this time. Right?
Yes, he has retired before me.
Much and Dhake was Dhake and first Mr. Ramarao was there. Then he quit and he joined Reliance. And then Dhake, and not only that, he's so practical and reasonable. When I used to tell him, Dhakeji, you are asking for this, but these are the difficulties. Why don't you? And one thing, he would look into the solution, think because as a consultant, that is what we want. That is the client to respect our views. Ultimately, we may not come on the same. Our whole this thing of discussion is coming to the platform. He would look at whatever I told him. He would go through it in depth, and then we used to sit together and come. I mean, it was a pleasure working with me. Then, of course, on the project side, I was interacting with Seshu Sai, our senior, no?
Yeah, I know him. Yes.
Okay. Then Dhake. Then there was Mr. Kher. You must be knowing Kher.
Yes. He's a very close friend of mine again.
Okay, you tell.
We were together in Assam.
You know what? Kher was very jokingly. I said,
yes.
When the project was near completion, I said, Kherji, when I came to the first meeting, I'm sure you must have thought, what is the small chit of a lady who comes and every day she'll go sit at her desk and send 100 emails. I didn't get this. What do you do? I'm sure you didn't expect that I would come for so many visits. He said, He's absolutely, I said, I'm sure this must have been your impression when you saw me at first sight. What is this one small chit of a lady coming and talking about this? She'll talk today, go back tomorrow. From day after tomorrow, there'll be floods. I used to tell them, I have this thing, I need to do this. Can we discuss at site? I never shirked away from site visits.
That's very important for all these youngsters who are listening.
Exactly.
If you want to learn work, you have to go to the field. You have to be present at the site of the work.
Because only when they used to tell me the problems, when I used to visit that site, I could relate with the problem much better than what. See, any person has communication. Now, if Badal and I are sitting, okay, Pali talk different. When you're in a project, he might tell me so many things, but when I actually go to site, he will tell me how when I sit with him and talk, he'll tell me what is the problem. But when I go to site with him, he will tell me how the problem occurred. That makes a lot of difference in your way to handle the
No,
problem.
I'll just tell you a small experience that people, if they're sitting in the office and designing things, they'll put a wall where the person cannot reach.
Very true. It is not only that. Piping. So I used to involve my other team members. No, say, "Chalo site visit ho jaye." We are not going. Then they say, "Arey madam," I said, "No, हम picnic पे नहीं जा रहे, boss. हम अगर जाएंगे तो ना, हमारे लिए भी it's good for us only. We will understand what the client. See, the client may want so many things or something. What is practical, what is not, we can explain. And when you explain face to face, things are so much different. When you write a mail, it will be construed as, oh, these people want to cut costs or they don't want to give us. But if you explain to them why you don't want to give or why they should go for something else, it goes a long way. I think my reputation with ONGC or my rapport, I would say, with ONGC is my site visits. I never...
Absolutely, yes.
Once I went to Gandhar. I think, Badal, you know Gandhar site, no? They treat it as off-site. It is so far away from the main, there is nothing over there. 2-3 kilometers away, there's not a single hut. Even food they have to get from somewhere. They used to tell us how many people are coming because you have to order from somewhere, some 15 kilometers away. He will come. So if 2 people are coming, only 2, because there's nobody to give away the food also. Okay.
Yes.
Then we went to collect documents. No documents because there was a big flood in Gujarat at that time, maybe 2011 or 10 or something. So when we went in 2012 over there, no document was there. They said, "Bhad mein gaye pura document." And "bhad mein gaye" is not the slang which we use. It really got washed away into this thing. Okay. Then I said, okay, fine, we will do something. Then 5:30, I told the project manager. Generally, I have the habit of sitting very late and all that. Even they themselves said, "Sir, 4 to 5 kilometers, there's nothing here. If the vehicle goes for a breakdown, by the time somebody comes, you can't even get phone signals. So better go off from here." And they're also like offshore, no, 15 days people work and then they take a break and then their substitute comes for the next 15 days. So I have worked in such kind of challenges, these are all, see, that's what I said. Don't think like if your IT colleagues say, "I went to Singapore, I went to Malaysia," fine, yeah. They have, what I tell some of my friends, what you saw, my own husband, he traveled all over the world. He said, "You saw this, you saw this, you saw this. Did you see Gelki? Do you know where Gelki is? It's not there in the map. Do you know where Lakwa is? It's not there in the map. I have seen Lakwa and Gelki, which you have not seen." So this is how it is just for between both of us, it's like jokes apart, not a challenge or something. So even other friends, they say, "Arey, मैं यहाँ गया." I said, "Yes, yaar, I went to Badmer. कितने लोग बाड़मेर जा सकते हैं, बोलो?" So this is where, you be proud of what you're doing. Then your energy levels will automatically. I feel my energy levels are the same as my levels in college. Not maybe with 10%, 20% would have dwindled. I will not, or maybe I get tired a little faster. But nothing stops me from doing what I want to.
But your energy levels have been grown up from the time we have started this talk to now. I'm sure about it.
Any other question anybody wants?
Yes. Triveni, you have another question?
Ma'am, we know that you worked with India's biggest companies like ONGC, GAIL and other. Ma'am, what is the state of Industry 4.0 or digitalization of processes there?
No, I don't understand what you mean by digitalization of process. First, see, once upon a time, our own seniors, our own bosses, what hand calculation they used to do, now we have software to simulate the entire plant. Okay? If you are talking about digitalization, I mean, I really didn't understand. Then another thing is all the control rooms and all that, So now they're all automatized. You have to go into the plant actually manually to check other things. But at least in the control room, you know what is happening in each and every equipment in the plant or in the unit and all that. Okay, then they want to go to Industry 4.0. So already they have integrated quite a lot and all that. But understand one thing, the plant operates, you can't sleep at home and operate the plant. You not only have to go to the control room, you have to pay visits to the plant and all that, or how they operate, because some operations are still manual. The manual signal has to be given. So many clients, they think that my bedroom is so all plant should operate. No, that doesn't. There is digitalization, there is computerization. Now you have the entire, see, I think your question, because since you people are still young and not exposed to certain things, there's nothing like, yes, you have some software for data mining and all those things. If I have understood your question, right? If I have not, please correct me. So for data mining, you have software. Then for your control room operations, the way it is integrated, the entire plant in installation, it is integrated in one way. And in refineries and all, from one unit to another, it cascades. Then if you know that there's a small problem in the unit, at least in the control room you can detect. But when there's any leakage and all, more than the control room, the operator there can detect. Okay, you have your gas detectors, everything. You have your UV detectors, everything. And you have your fire alarms, everything. You have your trips, you have your alarms, everything is in place. Like you have something digitalization, if you're talking, there's something called safety integrity levels. So then they go to a instrumentation sophistication to the core. I don't want to get into that because it's a little complex of a topic and all that. What exactly do you want by digitalization?
Like, ma'am, are the processes one process to other process? Are they connected? And like, so that way the information can be transferred from one process to other process and take decisions autonomously.
No, see, it is like that in any refinery and all that, the process is integrated. Because if I start with crude CDU and I end with asphalt, there are another 15 units which are there in between. So because every unit has its yield, productivity, purity and all that. So only now you have the advantage of simulating the entire refinery in one nutshell. So where like same thing when I did for ONGC APU, so there were about 8-9 units. So then you have to simulate based on what is the capacity they are expecting, what is the purity they are expecting. You have to play around with it and then do your simulations and all that. So there is nothing like what you're calling digitalization. It is you have your simulation, then you have your this thing control room operations. I mean like operation digitalization, yes, control room integration. And if you want this thing, you have in Aspen and all that PIM software you have to simulate the entire refinery. Even in installation also we use this thing based on the this thing, especially in oil fields, the gas gathering stations. What is the flow they are expecting? What is the quantity of flow? And one big challenge there is today what flow you get. By the time the plant is commissioned, your flow reduces and the quality of your composition also changes. So that is the biggest challenge in installations. You have to design not only for today, for the next 20 years, you take the profile of all these things, well fluid characteristics, well fluid profiles. So you need predictions. It's like an astrologer's prediction. When you look at a pregnant woman, they'll say it could be 50% girl, 50% boy. Okay. So predictions they give you information. You have to derive data from that.
Okay, ma'am. I'm understanding a little bit. I think I have to talk to you in person, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, Triveni. Teju?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah. Tejasri. Tejasri, did I interact with you earlier?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. That is how that is supposed to ask you now,
Yeah,
and that
I
is.
remember your face.
Thank you so much. That is what I'm going to ask, ma'am. Still hope you are still remembered her Voices of Alumni Women's Edition. Thank you so much for remembering all this.
No.
So I was like, yeah, when you started this energy, the same energy when we were talking to you, the same flow, how could you maintain that with that energy and also with some of, some of the humor you will add.
Maybe I like to talk here. So that could be.
Yes, we love to talk to you.
I enjoy. And maybe pandemic, no, I'm not going out of the house. I'm not seeing anybody. So I'm not finding people to talk to. So that would be another reason. I mean, of course, in the lighter vein, of course.
Yes, ma'am. When Top Talk was with Aruna ma'am, we were so excited. Yeah, I think we all thought that we will get sure energy. And so when we interviewed you, the amount the story which you told about your life and all that, we captured it, right? So that time the transcription was so hard. We were listening to you many more times to write all those in words, right? So that story of your life is completely in our minds till now. That is so, and giving the same energy that day when you have told. And one thing which I want to share with all my friends, when Sindhuja and me were talking with ma'am for the first time, we called ma'am at 11 p.m. Sorry. So ma'am was completely in dark, and she was like, she woke up at that time, and we were.
No, I didn't wake up. I don't sleep. My whole problem is that.
You won't sleep, right? Yeah. So we confined a date and time for our talk, and at the end, ma'am told us, please read Hanuman Chalisa and sleep. We were confused why ma'am told us to read Hanuman Chalisa, and later she told, yeah, I'm so ugly and looking so like booth. Please read Hanuman Chalisa.
I said, because my hair was disheveled and I thought it's a informal talk. Let me not. I hope
know what, ma'am? I still remember that.
No, I hope you have not taken a picture. It will scare away tomorrow when your kids cry. You can say, if you don't stop crying, I'll bring this thing home. Then they'll stop crying.
So that is what, ma'am, with the energy, with the work, and with the humor, you're rocking her till now, ma'am.
Thank you. Anyway, I should
thank you so much.
Always, maybe the energy is from the young faces that you see. You always feel young and energetic and all that. So, like, I still remember when I joined Institute, then we went to another distant relative was in physics department, very elderly gentleman, and then he knows they were all childhood friends. Then he said, you join, you come home one day. I went to that uncle's house. Then auntie was there. She said, Aruna, you're so energetic and all. Now if you spend your time in the institute, all these professors are old and all, you'll also start sounding old. Whereas her elder daughter, she's a school teacher. She said, see, Aruna, I spend time with kids. That's why I'm so energetic. Now you're going to spend time with all these old professors. So all your energy levels will become like an old person's. I said, no. But you should see some of the way either my professors or my bosses used to work some of them were so exceptionally motivating. And another thing, see, if you are convincing, the faith that they have in you, you feel so much better. Your energy levels come from that also. So now tomorrow if I delegate work to you, if I have faith in you, at your level you may make a lot of mistakes. I'm not expecting you to give 100% proper work. It's only the mistakes that you learn. So don't shy away from your mistakes. If you accept them, you can learn. If you say, no, I can't make a mistake, then you're learning, nobody will tell you, okay, fine, you're not accepting. So your energy levels will grow when you start learning new things every day, doing something new, interacting with people. All these things are factors, I tell you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
And I think women are blessed with more energy levels that way, I tell you. So that's why when you differentiate, you see the strength a woman has compared to men can do. Badal, you can hit me afterwards. No problem. Okay? They are focused on one thing. What they do it very proper. But women, I mean, the strength of a man is he focused in one thing. Whatever he does it properly. But the strength of a woman is they can channelize their mind into doing so many things. Like suppose tomorrow you are there, you are working, you have a kid. The kid wants your attention. Your boss wants you to talk to you on the phone. Then somewhere your cooker chuck the whistle will be blowing. Somehow you are able to manage all those things. Like women's body or nature, no, it has made women to channelize their mind into so many things. But men have a very good focus when they do something, but they can do one thing at a time. Badal ji, kya vichar hai?
We all, yeah, well, that is what which we like more from you, because you, whenever we introduce so many of our alumni or women, the only person you told that there is no gender bias. I don't like, if you are in a job, you have to do that job. No, I'm not wanted to be prioritized because I'm a woman. So that was the only different words from you. We were listened from you. That was the altogether apart from all that is where we focused on that point more, ma'am.
Yeah.
So see this, talking about this gender bias, we hear a lot about this, and yes, it exists. But I have found that a lot of times, a lot of contribution towards this is from the feminine gender only. That's because some of you, not all of you, would try to use your gender to take some special considerations sometimes. That is where you are failing in gender equality. If you feel that there should be gender equality, then it should also work both ways. Even you should work in a way that there should be gender equality. Don't take extra considerations for being a female, that I am a female, then I should have this extra consideration. Then you are also contributing towards gender inequality. So when you say equal, yes, equal in everything. Sometimes what happens is, I have seen that somebody has to go to the field, then some of the girls would say that we cannot go to the field now. I mean, see, it has become already, by the time we can't come back, it will be dark. How can we go? Let some guy go there. That is where you are failing yourself.
Correct, Badal. Because I'll tell you one thing. That's one thing with consultancy, women become very tough because you have to cater to the client. Every deliverable, only if you deliver, give your deliverables, company gets the revenue. Whereas the owner-based companies, they have a lot of money. Okay. So I have seen there are 10% women who are very dedicated, but some of them used to take advantage. Like when during a HAZOP session, I don't want to name her. I'm sure you know that lady very well. She walked out at 4:30, and generally the decorum is you have to take the HAZOP chairpersons at least inform. Then she went off. I said I was not too happy because I was chairing the HAZOP session, and that was from Delhi office. It was done. Okay. So then, and some of them, the male counterparts were too good. And they said I was not too happy. I said, why did she leave?
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Some people take advantage of that. Some people know, because your gender, your as you said, women have more versatility. Then she just walked out, Then one of them said, she's very well connected. I said, I'm not bothered about her. You know that girl very well. I think you can even make out whom I'm hinting at also. Okay? So then when you do, HAZOP chairman does the proceedings and the scribe writes, and my scribe said,
yes,
she's not even contributing. It's better if she leaves because we can do a session faster. Her only contribution in the entire thing was Diana. So when there is flow, the valve has to open, and she was a chief engineer at that time. Then my scribe was telling, Madam, but वो इतनी बोली है ना, वो बस है. He said, ज़्यादा उनको बोलने मत. And whereas the other people were so nice, and then they said, and then they themselves, one of them said, Madam, I see in EIL people, when we leave at 7, 8 and all, women go at that time. In our place, most people, 4:35 days, I have 2 children to look after. I was wondering how old or how young the children were. One was 12th class, the other was in 10th or 11th. They were not such babies where they can't handle it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah.
it is attitude. That's what I'm trying to say. No? And there are so many women who are very dedicated. I am not generalizing by one or two persons, but they should not be your example or your role model. I have seen people like that. And it's very disappointing because she's well connected, she will get promotions and all. But is that growth in career? I would be ashamed of myself if I grew like that, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it doesn't give you self-satisfaction.
Exactly. And no learning. See, you may get everything, but what your juniors cannot take away anything from you. Your best satisfaction is your juniors learning from you. Tomorrow, I have worked with some bosses whom to this day, they are around 75 and all that. I just pick up the phone and talk to them. If I want any information or if they want any information, because in these areas, not everybody can do every area. In my area of expertise, my boss says, Aruna, I have done this. Do you have any more information on that? Or if I ask him, sir, I'm a little this thing on that. Can you just give me some insights into that? So this is where the takeaway is, even now some of my chelas, they call and ask me, ma'am, I have given this. Is it okay? They don't send me anything because it is confidential. But with my experience, they have worked with me. They know that if they are stuck somewhere, they can just ask me for a solution. There the confidence building is, it's not what you are. It is, or rather it is not who you are in the company. It is after, post this thing, what you are makes a lot of difference. That's.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Badal sir, do you have any final thoughts to address all of you?
Actually, I joined the meeting not with the intention of talking at all, but Aruna's energy rubbed on to me. And the fact that she has worked so much with the oil industry and especially with ONGC, it also gave me a chance to really get into the conversation. Basically, the conversation is not meant for both of us or people of our age. The conversation is actually aimed for you all, the youngsters. So some things have been told directly to the youngsters. Some things you will have to pick from the conversations we had between ourselves or among ourselves. As we say, even Mr. Sajeev was around and we were having certain things, we were interacting among ourselves. So you have to take certain cues from our conversation as well. We were basically, today we were basically talking about the industry, how generally the industry works, not getting into any specialized talk about deep engineering. What we were talking about just day-to-day conduct in the industry and how you have to conduct yourself, hold your positions and things like that. The fact that a lot of girls are getting into engineering nowadays, especially chemical engineering, also turns all conversation nowadays towards gender bias or gender equality, which is of course a very important subject to talk about. But at the same time, I personally feel that you have to be conscious about your individual responsibilities when you get into some work, rather than having gender at the back of your mind. Basically, it's the work and it's the place where you are working, and you have to focus completely on what you are doing. Of course, there are certain places where your gender becomes important or comes to the forefront. Especially, I would agree with Aruna when she says that woman plays a bigger role so far as the work-life balance is concerned or running the family is concerned. However, for the guys, it's very important to be equally responsible for the family when you are in a family. And there has to be sacrifices from both the sides. Without that, the family is not going to succeed or your career is not going to succeed. So, while the woman plays a bigger role in the family building, the man also has a very important role, and if so long as he doesn't play his role well, their family is not going to succeed. So both the girls and the boys, for both of you, there is a big message in what she said and what she conveyed in all her talk. So that's all I have to speak today, because it was basically I came in to listen to her, and I got into this conversation, and it was interesting, so I stuck on. Thank you very much, all of you, for being in this for so long and giving us an opportunity to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you to you for giving us an opportunity to listen to you. It's such a lovely conversation, actually.
Yeah. And thanks, Badal, for the lovely conclusion. I think you hit the point, nail on the head. See, when we were talking about our connections, the message you get, when you go and visit an office, you build contacts. Through contacts, you will build your knowledge, because each person has an expertise in a different field. They would have spent some very good part of their life in that. Like I was telling him, there was one Mr. Ramarao, Mr. Dake. In that plant, they spent for such a long time. For me, sitting with them, we could translate our ideas, so without 100 revisions and all that, the document within the first thing, it would just go very smoothly. So this goes a long way. So you need to travel, you need to talk to people, you need to reach out to people, and they have to build that confidence in you that he or she can deliver the way we want the product, what we want. So that, if you look at the face, the body language, everything makes a lot of difference. Your conversation, that really shows that you are interested in work, not one casual telephone or this thing that doesn't really gel. That's what. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Shravan sir, do you want to add any points?
Thank you very much, Aruna Garu and Badal ji, for coming onto the call. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am. Do you want to add something?
No. Thanks, Badal, for staying on. It was really nice to get connected with you after many years.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for you have started it with a very seamless flow, and loved the traveling along with you to the northern states and coming back to the oil and gases industries. And Badal sir, really very much thanks to you for coming into the conversation and adding so many valuable points. And yeah, definitely, as you said, we have picked many learnings from your conversations too. And actually, it was a blessing, listening to the conversations of people like you. We really get inspired, and we really learn so many things. Actually, we learn how to communicate with the people like you. And yes, I actually, ma'am, that you have almost said everything related to the hardship that a consultant will be having. And you are such a dynamic person who has experience of 25 plus years of being a consultant. So we are very much inspired by your talk, and thank you so much. Thank you everyone for staying this long, and definitely Sajid sir added energy to this meeting. And yes, I guess we all are equally energized for this day. Thank you, everyone. And one important thing, hope you're all happy, safe, healthy. Have a happy smile and enjoy the day. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. It's been my pleasure to be with all the young, lovely, smiling faces. Both girls and boys do well. That's why just one mantra is, whatever you do, do it. At that time, suppose you don't like something that you get, you start liking it, automatically you're interested in it. So all the best to all of you. You people have more opportunities compared to us. You have more openings compared to us. And I told you, information is very readily available to you, much more than what we used to have. So as you said, stay safe, stay healthy, and wish you all the
Best.
all the best from my
Best.
side. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Badal sir.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye, ma'am.
Bye bye.
Yes, this is for you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. We express our deep sense of gratitude for accepting our invitation and giving us this talk. Really, it's been a great honor to us, and your presence made us feel so happy and excited. And thank you once again for spending your valuable time with us, ma'am. Thank you, Badal sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye then. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Have a good
Bye,
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye everybody. Bye Shravan. Bye Badal.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, everyone.